Howdy, y'all. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about books while playing some Destiny. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Oh, on the tale of books, I'm not exactly sure where to start off with that, other than the fact that books are pretty entertaining. I'm more of a mystery type of person when I do decide to read. Not so much into anything else. There are some really good mysteries out there. Murder on the Orient Express, Murder on the Yukon Trail are some really good ones. Oh, and then psychological horror. Those are really good as well. If you ever get the actual chance to read the inspiration between the movie The Ring, the book behind it, it's actually a pretty decent book. Not actually very similar to the American movie, though, which is interesting to say the least. And then a lot of H.P. Lovecraft is what I tend to read, I guess, when I do read psychological horror. There are some really good books out there, like there's a Japanese book called Face of Another. If you haven't been able to tell, it seems that I read a lot of Japanese books. I had a class back in college that went over them, and their literature's quite fascinating to me. At least the translated works. But Face of Another is interesting because it gets in talking about like the self and the differences that come about when it's like how you see yourself, and it's like, hey, is this mask the real you, or is what's underneath the real you? Which is interesting because, I don't know about everyone, but I'm not always the same person in front of different people. Like, I will be one person to one group of friends and then another person to my family. Which sounds weird, but that's just how it is. So you get these very interesting novels. That you can just get into, which are really cool. But I'm personally more of a history person. Well, mystery history as well. History books can be good if written correctly. That's the key, though, is they have to be written correctly. You can get a few books that are slightly just off topic, and short stories are also really good. So you'll get certain short stories which are really well written. Which can get you into like the online community, and it's like, hey, do you Do you read manga? What is your experience? Or manga or comics or whatever you read? Reading as a whole, I think, is kind of just odd, because if you don't read for a while, like, your reading speed can potentially slow down, which I guess is like most skills. If you don't utilize it, it will fail to maintain its sharpness, its proficiency. So, which is actually another reason that I really enjoy Destiny, is because its lore is actually quite extensive, and you can learn quite a bit. I mean, it's fiction, of course, but it's very well written from quite a few different perspectives. So it can be pretty good. That gets you into like the conversation about like oh, video game writing. Because yeah, books are good, but it's like, isn't that just what movies and video games are? Just the telling of written words, which is what books are. You get some pretty interesting stuff that you can get going. Oh. Actually, the book that I'm reading right now is called A Wild Sheep Chase, and it's a fairly slow book towards the beginning, but once it starts picking up, it's like a psychological, I don't know, it's like a psychological horror situation almost, but it's not. That makes any sense? Which is, it's an odd situation, I think, altogether, but if we can pop this guy's shield really quick. There we go. Maybe force him down from there. So when it comes to, I guess, other written works, trying to do what I can. I didn't really script this out very well, if at all, really. But you can get some really good written works. Of course you can, but of course not all works are gonna be the best. I got into one such work where it started off really good, but towards the end it just petered out to be less than palatable. It kind of was a letdown, not gonna lie. Because it started off and it had great promise, but the execution was just, it was flawed. Very flawed execution. Which I guess I could have, like, brought that into other works, but if you're not careful, that's what you get with a work. But you gotta give them props nonetheless for coming up with such a work, because it still takes a lot of skill to write. Oh. What was that? I don't know. Ah! Where am I at? Just getting tossed around like ragdoll. So, I don't know, I'm pretty happy with the books that I'm at. It's an interesting situation. Where I'm at doesn't actually have a bookstore, which goes to show that the place I'm at is just really weird. But anyway, I guess that's enough ramblings of the Madman from me. So thank you all for watching, and always have a great day. Have a good night. Have a great evening. Bye.